Are you ready?
I think so, yeah. I'm really nervous, not gonna lie. I have no idea what I'm gonna say, but I'm just like gonna let it be.
Yes. Marissa, I want to thank you so much for doing exactly this. It's so funny because what this podcast has allowed me the opportunity to do is go on social media, see people that inspire me, see people that are constantly doing wonderful things, and then also meet them then in real life. That is something that a majority of people cannot say that they are doing. So I'm breaking the barriers. I'm sending out emails, sending out DMs, doing every bit of what I can to create this bit of excitement amongst myself. And then for those that want to peek in and be a fly on the wall, we're scratching their itch as well. So that's exactly what we're doing today. Thank you so much for coming on. And in order to give a proper introduction, I always like to have other people or themselves do it. So with that, who is Marissa Wilson?
Yes, thank you so much for having me. This is wonderful. And yeah, kudos to you. Like, you're really doing amazing, consistent, pushing stuff out, and great production behind everything. So definitely shout out to you. Who is Marissa? I am the daughter of Jackie, granddaughter of Doris. I'm a sister. I am a cat lady. I love cats. Right? I'm an adventurer, a seeker, and a little bit of a rebel. And all of those things today have manifested into a founder, a product developer, a power lifter. So those are just like roles that I play. That's how I like to see it now, because I'm kind of coming out of this stage where I define myself by like what I do or what my career is, recovering millennial. But yeah, I think how I show up in terms of legacy is like really important to me. So I'd like to acknowledge that first.
Absolutely. And I want to just tackle it right off the bat. What brought me here to asking you was Capsoul itself. Yes. What an idea, what a brand. The products that you are producing right now, I think, are amongst the coolest thing that I have seen within the luggage space. Mm-hmm. So talk more about exactly what it is that you're doing with all of that.
Yeah, absolutely. So Capsoul is a luggage brand specifically for professional creatives. And the idea is that we basically have these interchangeable packing systems that you can bring in and out of our bags and essentially customize them to whatever your travel experience is. So it all started kind of like 2018-ish, but I was doing a lot of traveling for work back then, got the chance to go to Paris and South Africa and all through the Pacific Northwest to shooting different content series. And I really wanted to just like have one bag that I could take with me because we were really kind of living fast pace. I would leave my house in the morning, go to the office, we go to the airport, get off the plane, go to the hotel, drop things off, like get started with production. So I really wanted one bag that I could just like pack everything into and kind of sort of break into smaller different pieces instead of carrying multiple different bags, overpacking because I don't really know what I need. So I'm just like taking stuff just in case. So I was really looking for something that could streamline and systemize like the way that I was packing and carrying things when I was traveling. And I also wanted it to be like a professional, sleek look because this was like middle of my career. And I was really trying to like on the outside sort of professionally elevate in that sense. And I found that you really had two options in the market. Like you had the option of going totally sleek, totally luxury, like definitely is giving boss. But there's no organization to it. There's no like pockets, there's no pouches that kind of like fit perfectly. But then you have this other side of the like bag market where it's more tactical gear. So you can, comes with different pouches, you can clip them on the outside of the bag, comes with packing pouches on the inside, like tons of pockets and zippers and hideaway things. But those bags are built to go hiking through the mountains or some sort of outdoorsy activity, or for true like military action, neither of which I was doing. So I really just had a thought like, okay, I really want to combine the best of these worlds, like this luxury look and feel, but with this tactical utility. So that kind of started me on a journey to designing it and like making one bag for myself. And, 3-ish years later, we're in market, and, working to grow and build. I'm in the middle of preparing to fundraise. And yeah, the business has really like already surpassed my expectations. I was really just trying to make one bag, but it turns out people really like it. And so now, I'm reworking the business strategy to figure out how is this a sustainable business? Like, what's the glue that brings us or that holds everything together? Like, what is the greater mission, the greater purpose for it? So that was a roundabout way of explaining Capsoul, but yeah, that's who we are.
You did a fantastic job of cultivating a group of ideas all together to accomplish exactly what it is that you were trying to do. That bag is one of the slickest, coolest things that I've ever seen. And the touch of, what would you refer to it as? The red belt that goes around it?
Yeah. So
amazing.
So that's our signature utility belt. Yeah. And it serves two purposes. So all of the packing pouches that come inside the bag, you can take them all out, and they have these little loops on the back, and you can basically thread the strap through and turn it into a crossbody or a fanny pack. And then also the bag is made out of neoprene, which is a super stretchy material. So you can get a surprising amount of stuff in the bag, and in that case the belt basically acts as like an extra layer of compression, so you wrap it around the bag and just like pull it real tight, and it holds everything together. It's
truly one I'll post it on the video like right next to your face right now, because people need to see it. It has the flap over and throughout the entire bag, like you said, has how would you describe the texture?
So basically we use two fabrics, silicone leather and neoprene. Yeah. So silicone leather is what you see on the flap and the straps, and small piece on the back of the bag that the utility strap threads through. So yeah, it was really just like, I feel like leather is the thing that people look for in a professional bag and like a work bag. Like it just automatically screams like, I'm an executive. I don't know. But there were a lot of challenges with working with genuine leather. So may or may not be something we explore in the future. I don't know. Definitely have gotten requests for it, but I think overwhelmingly people appreciate the vegan leather option. Yeah. And we did a really thorough job of like sourcing a particular type of vegan leather that would have a nice feel to it. Like, it's very soft. People are really surprised that it's not genuine leather. And it's also just like, one of the more ethical or sustainable types of vegan leather out there, because it's made out of silicone, or silica, basically derived from sand. So it's not like we went to the ocean and took it out. Definitely a few more steps in there. But over the long term, one of my goals is definitely to get really innovative with this sort of fabrication that we're utilizing. Overall, keeping this ability for things to stretch and conform to what's inside of it. Like, ultimately, like, that's going to be really important for us. So neoprene out the gate was the best option for that. Yeah. But as we think about new products and like what comes next, definitely some sort of, if not R&D around our own fabrications, definitely partnering with the new technologies that are already out there.
You should really connect with the company Fount. Okay. Have you seen their stuff? They just opened one over in Crocker Park, I think within the last year. But basically, they have very, very high quality leather goods. And I believe a lot of what they do is with genuine leather. So maybe a great place to start if you were looking for someone to understand more of what it would mean to work with something like that. But I'm super impressed by your ability to put all of this together to come out with a final product. I would say more times than not, everyone has 1,000,001 good ideas. And then, a collection of those are great ideas. But a majority of them, if not 90%, never even come to fruition. What inspired you or what drove you to actually seeing this project to and through?
It's just what happened. I'll be honest with you. Like, it's like entrepreneurship and like creating something. There's things go away, and so it's not bad that if you had an idea, you didn't bring it to life. Like it either didn't really matter that much to you or it wasn't feasible and sustainable. So, and neither is a loss, it's just more information for you to move forward with. So for me, this people are seeing now what, again, like started in 2018. So what is this? 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. That's a long time,
yes.
And I didn't start actively selling until November of 2021.
Is that right?
Yeah. So I spent majority of the time in research, in like finding my vendors, getting the tech pack created, like really focusing on, is this a viable problem to solve? So I did a lot of underground work before I've ever made any money on it. Or you ever saw any money from it.
Correct.
So, and there's still room for this not to continue on, and this is a real space that I'm in, because I'm in an accelerator program right now. It's coming up towards the end, but the point of it really is to get you to go back high level. What am I doing? And what am I going to need to get it done? And do I want to do it? Like, that's the real goal of it. So you walk away either prepared for your next step, to fundraise, which is most likely always the next step. Like, that's the point, to walk away from it to be ready to fundraise. And that comes in a variety of different forms, like crowdfunding included. But you walk away with it ready to do that, or you walk away with it being like, whoo, I'm glad I didn't waste no more time on this, but it was fun, off to the next thing. And I think that the only thing that has kept me thus far is that people buy the bag. That's the only, when people buy it, I'm like, okay, well, I guess we got to keep selling it.
They're like, it's stock, I threw it out there.
So, and to me, right now, I definitely, as I'm thinking about what the next steps are, if there comes a point where we lose traction or people are like not really caring about what we're doing anymore, then there's no, I don't know if there's a reason to keep going, you know? Because the whole point is to make stuff that people want. So the people wanting it is really the only thing that's gotten me this far.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one thing that I have always liked from what it is that you've done is it's not just the bag itself, which is already amazing, but it seems pretty cool for you to be building a brand around this bag.
Yeah, now this is the part that I'm struggling with. 'Cause again, I think a lot of my kind of career experience was, regardless of the title I held at the time, it was really about like getting a thing from 0 to 1. So I know how to execute. I know how to like take something from a concept to a product, whether it's digital or physical, that's ready to sell. But the concept of building a brand, which is, as I'm learning much more about, creating community, like a thing that people feel connected to on a larger level. And, you know, I don't quite know what that entails. You know, I think a lot of times we can maybe look at just how social media operates today, and we think that that's marketing, you know, but it's really not. And it's not about, I feel like, yes, we've done a good job at everything looking cohesive. Like, this looks like a legit brand, you know? That part was easy. But the part where people, you know, say your name, know your name, like, or they see products and they know it's you, or...
Where did the name come from?
So I get asked this question so much. It's really a play on a capsule wardrobe. So, you know, a capsule wardrobe is like you have these like 8 to 10 pieces that you swap in and out that go with each other. And it's like, they're high quality pieces. You know, you can rely on them. You invest in them. And they last you a long time. So it was really, again, going back to having these packing systems, like this one bag that can kind of conform to whatever your scenario is for the day. Because some days it might be like, I'm only carrying my laptop, like I'm not really doing too much. But other days it's like I just came back from Chicago yesterday, you know, so I had my toiletries in my bag, I had my laptop in there, I had all sorts of random stuff. So I used much more of the packing pouches then. But going back to this system of like, again, interchangeable packing cubes and things, like the idea is that, you know, you kind of invest in this one staple bag and you use it for everything. And that is the feedback I get. People are like, I take my capsule pack everywhere. Like, and that's what I want to hear. You know, I want it to be like your everyday bag that you literally feel comfortable doing whatever to.
You are right about the whole developing a community that is much more than just establishing or making one product.
Yes.
I mean, gosh, think about it. Even something like Louis Vuitton, it's like their keep all, beautiful bag. I love it. I have 3 of them. I want more. But all it is a literal duffel bag with no pockets. It's super inconvenient to get things in and then to take them out. Meanwhile, I love using it as a gym bag just because of, in some ways, what it signifies and the status of it and the way that it looks.
You go to the gym with your Louis bag?
Yeah.
What gym you go to? You must. Yeah, no, but that's exactly right. You know, and no one's gonna stop by Louis Vuitton because, I mean, they're legendary. Like they're beyond a brand at this point. Right.
It's a lifestyle.
Yeah, you know. So, but I think what's interesting is I've done a lot of customer interviews and like asking them what other brands do they have, whatever. I'll say probably like 60% of my customers, they have some designer bag that, and most times it's like I'm carrying the designer bag and I'm carrying the capsule bag because it's like I've got all the utility here, but I'm just attached to this one. That's really, and so, you know, I think it could be interesting 10, 20 years from now to see if people end up making the switch, you know, if we end up like competing against that, those sorts of legacy brands just because we offer a little bit of utility that they don't.
Yeah. But what's so interesting about what you have gone through is you can't just go to comfortcolors.com or customink.com and, you know, print a logo on a shirt and call it yours. Like, you had to do extensive research and a lot of research and development to understand exactly what you were going to use to put together this bag that has so many different parts and components, where I am impressed with your ability to put all of that together because, like I said, that would stop most people. Did you tackle that on your own, or did you have like a group of people? How did you do this?
Yeah, I definitely have a team. You know, I did this multiple ways, you know. So the bag that you see today is not, it wasn't the V1. Yeah. The V1 I did pretty much by myself. I hired a technical designer, so they're the people who like do the measurements and like basically the exact instructions that the factory needs in order to like make the thing. So I hired someone off of Upwork to do my original tech pack. And then at the time I was living in LA, so I went down to the fashion district and I just walked around until I found someone who made bags and wanted to help me. So it was really just like, I literally went door to door, just like, knocking on mom and pop shops or anybody that looked like they could potentially execute on this tech pack. So that was my first iteration. Got the first one done. Probably took like 6 months. And yeah, I just realized I just didn't feel good about like this being the thing, that we launch with. So I sat on the idea for a really long time. And then I had a mutual connection with this woman named Ali O'Neill, and she owns a company called The Product Place. And she basically, she's sort of an agency that will help you develop products of any sort. So she's super well versed in the whole, like, what goes into manufacturing, apparel construction, like all the things. So I worked with her probably for a good 18 months to go from that original version 1 to the bag that we see today. So that included basically scrapping the tech pack and starting over, finding a new manufacturer, someone who could produce at scale, because that was one of the big challenges. It's like, I can't be taking 6 months. He was the original guy that did the bag. He was more like, if you want a really nice custom piece, like, he's going to do it for you. But he's not about to make 500 bags for me so that I could like go sell them. So yeah, working with her really helped me take that concept and bring it to a position of scale. Like, so I definitely had help there. And yeah, we probably spent, I don't even know, all the time kind of runs together at this point, but we spent a good amount of time going through multiple iterations of the bag you see today. We probably went through like 4 versions before we came up with the final one. But even that was a lot of me going to Joann's, like touching the fabric and just like going online to different, sort of fabric wholesalers and ordering samples and like seeing what I liked. And it really was just like researching and going out there and leveraging your connections and that whole thing.
Do you feel as though you were granted opportunities or access to things and people in Los Angeles that you wouldn't have had here in Cleveland?
Not necessarily, because I met Alia, who was a pivotal partner in getting this whole thing off the ground. I met her through like my connections in California, but I think that, I don't know, I might have found another way to get it started, but that's just the way that it happened. And then when I moved here, the pandemic brought me back home. So I came back at the top of the pandemic, still hadn't launched this business yet. So, and Alia lives in Texas. She doesn't even live in LA. Is that right? So I don't know if living in LA really had anything to do with it. But here, I kind of I have like a regional business. Like Cleveland is one of my biggest markets, both online, and we are set up at City Goods in Ohio City. And they've been huge partners. Like, they found me and pretty much like help towards the second part of my launch, because I pre-sold for like 7 months. And ended up, it just so happened it worked out where City Goods was opening right around the time that I was getting inventory. And so then I had a physical space to sell. So, that was a huge, like, next level opportunity for my business. And now the accelerator I'm in is in Louisville, So I don't really know if my location had anything to do with it. I really just think it was like, I had this idea and I took little baby steps to make it viable. Mm-hmm. And with each step I took, it was like God was taking a step with me, or the other way around. Like, God was taking a step. It was probably the other way around. God was taking a step. He was like, "Come on," and I was like, "All right, I'm gonna see." And then it worked out, and that has allowed me to go another step. Like, right now, I feel like I've proven nothing. I'm still just like trying to see if this thing will stick.
Well, take a moment to allow me to acknowledge that you have not done nothing, that you have done something, and that something, as I have said before, is so much farther than what 90% of the people would ever do. Like I said, most people don't even have a product that comes out to be what you have had the opportunity to create so many and give so many. That's amazing.
Yeah. You're right.
That's right.
It is definitely. This is the challenge with us creative people. It's like, it's honestly like the gift and the curse.
Mm-hmm.
The gift is you're never satisfied, so you're always gonna be working to like improve or do it better or like find the next thing or whatever. So you very rarely give up.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you're like, all right, yeah, I did that. And it's time to keep going.
There's a feeling that you need to be doing something different. Yeah. I think about it where, high school was 4 years, college was 4 years. I've been out of college for 4 years, and now I'm just like, what's next? What do I want to do? And that's part of the reason why I started this podcast, because I wanted to break the chain of what just felt like an endless routine.
Yeah. Yeah. But isn't it weird that, like, do you feel like, I mean, you kind of put yourself in another routine,
Yes.
But so is it that we don't want any routine, or we are kind of almost, like you were saying, we're conditioned to every 4 to 5 years, it's a new life phase. So we're kind of like forcing ourselves to do that.
It's a very interesting question, because one would say that no particular day is as similar as we would think one day to the next. Mm-hmm. But it's like similar enough to feel that way. Mm-hmm. And once you get to a point of time, you're just like, okay, well, am I bored? Am I not satisfied? Mm-hmm. Why do I feel like this? What is this feeling that I'm feeling? It goes into what I was talking about before we turned this on, and that was, I really am glad that TikTok has become a thing, because it's opened the doors to be able to look into people's lives. Yeah. We're no longer only seeing like the good path and the bad path. It's, hey, even if you follow that good path, there are all these like little trails that, come off of it, that some people are happy doing what it is that was on that good path, and some people are miserable, and then some people are just like in between, or they're just like flowing. And I think we're at a point in which we're all trying to like figure out what life is. Yeah. I would be curious to know if life as we know it, in terms of the pace in which it seems like it's changing, felt like this to the generations before us. I mean, we almost can't say that it doesn't, because they've seen this. I mean, they went from a point of not having phones to having phones, but then that older generation didn't technology outpaced them. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like, where are we? What are we supposed to be doing? Are we all on the right track? What's next? What are we looking for?
Right. That's the real question. So, I mean, I think this is kind of what I was getting at like just taking one step at a time. Like the only reality is like what's happening right now. It's everything else is like, that's how you get in these anxiety induced kind of like feelings. Is you're worried about the past and like also worried about the future, and then you can't really deal with the present, so you're like overwhelmed by all three things that you perceive to be happening now, but they're not. So I think right now I'm using the process of like building this business to kind of teach myself that holistically across the board, is that nothing is guaranteed, And you can have the best intentions and things still don't end up the way that you envision them. But that's okay. I know nobody want to hear that. That sounds crazy, but that's really what it is, and we have to get comfortable with disappointment and discomfort. Otherwise it will feel so foreign to you that you'll think something's wrong with you when things don't feel good. And the reality is like they just won't feel good all the time, So I just like to take things one step at a time and like, let's nail today. Cause then we can celebrate at the end of the day. If we feel like today gets an A+, that's like a moment to be happy, and multiple moments of being happy creates joy ultimately. And then, if you kind of train yourself to like appreciate what's now and not worry about what was or what might be, I think we'll be way better off. Well, we won't have any of those questions about what am I supposed to be doing with my life? Is this right? Like it won't matter. So.
Yeah, I think that you made a very profound point about, like you said, like it sounds worse than what it is that we mean by it, but like, and that's that feeling of like disappointment. And it's like, well, is that because of a failure? Mm-hmm. Is it because of just a goal that was missed, or was it just an unintended outcome? Mm-hmm. It's kind of where it's like, hey, listen, everything's going to be fine. But also what's happened in the past is in the past and the future hasn't happened yet. So buckle down and just realize that it's time to address what's happening right now and move forward.
Yep. That's it.
Yeah. And that is one of the biggest reasons why I think I started to take fitness a little bit more seriously. Mm-hmm. I don't want to say I was looking for a distraction, but in some cases I was looking for a distraction.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, I've got time. I've got things on my mind, and times and thing on your mind are two of the most dangerous things ever. So it was just like, oh, well, let me get into a better headspace. Let me get into a better position in which I feel physically. And that is what's inspired me to start going. I started my runs last year. And then once I got cold, I was like, I'm not going outside. So I started lifting weights. And I understand that you are a power lifter. How did you get into that?
Again, I just be falling into stuff. But I mean, I've always been like everybody else, just like trying to get in shape, summertime, let me go on this 30-day crash diet workout plan. Like that's pretty much been my relationship with fitness my entire life. I was never really like overweight or anything like that. It's just like I like everybody else had, I wish the pants fit me this way, or I wish the shirt fit me this way. Like those sort of things. I never completely felt comfortable in like how I physically showed up. Mm-hmm. So, I kept always just like trying to get in shape, whatever. And I'd say like I got serious about it. Peloton is really what got me serious about it. Like before I moved back here to Cleveland, the office building that I worked in, they had a Peloton in there. And so I would go in there and like just have the best time on that bike. And so then when I moved back to Cleveland, I bought a Peloton bike. And that was pretty much like my main form of working out. And they have other classes on there, like they do strength classes, dumbbell hit sort of things, running, like whatever. So I would just like build my program with the Peloton app. So I got really consistent just by being on that. And then a friend of mine like invited me to this ladies only lift day at Groundwork Strength. And that was really like my first time. I don't know, like, yeah, it's pretty much my, I don't know if it was my first time really working out like that, but for whatever reason, it got me hooked. So I started going to the leg day every week. And then I started working with a trainer there. And we just focused a lot on squat, bench, deadlift. And I just kind of got obsessed. And I was just like, I felt naturally strong. And I just wanted to see how much I could do. I don't know. It was just fun. It was just fun. And it kept me coming back. And then again, being around different ladies who were also lifting, and like, we're all just trying to see, well, what's the max I can lift? Like, it was just a fun thing to do. And, something to get me out of my mind and into my body. And then after doing that for probably like a year, I decided that I wanted to compete just because, I don't know, I just thought it was interesting. And I just wanted to see what it would be like. So I ended up switching to a trainer who was more focused on powerlifting. He was a great competitor himself. And so, we trained together for like a year before I did my first competition. Last October, I think it was. Yeah, did it last October. I ended up getting first place in my weight class. No way. It was pretty dope. But I think for me, ultimately, like, I want to continue to be fine, Yeah. And so I just like fine, not like I'm fine, healthy, but that part too, So I feel like keeping my body in shape and like, making sure that, bringing it back to Capsule, like, I move a lot of stuff. I mean, I'm shipping boxes. I'm like taking forklifts down. Like, I need to be able to do that, So it's really about making sure that I'm primed to do the work I need to do, and that, like, I'm just taking care of myself, and it's just fun. It's just really a fun thing to do.
Do you remember the time that you started to see the results paying off from the workout that you were doing?
I mean, yes and no, because I feel like you have, I'm still like, you always have new goals. That's the crazy thing about it. Again, it's like you're never satisfied. So you always have these new goals. And when you train for a powerlifting meet, it's different than training for, like, it's really about your goals. So for a powerlifting meet, my goal is to be able to lift the most weight. So you don't really, six pack is not important. You probably won't have it. And like, it's just a different type of training, less volume, depending on the person, less cardio, definitely me, less cardio. So my goal at that time wasn't really focused on like how my body looked. Like, I just wanted to be strong. But now I've sort of switched things up again, and I'm doing much more HIIT style workouts. So the ones where you just like go nonstop. And I need something different now, so it's working for me now. Like, now I feel like I have a lot of pent up energy, and I need to like work it out. So getting my heart rate up, sweating a lot. Like, I'm doing much more of those workouts now versus powerlifting. I haven't been under a barbell in a while, and it does feel really strange. Yeah. But yeah, I think I'll say probably now is, I see so many changes just in the way that I can keep up with other people in the class, like, and now that's fun, now knowing that, like, yeah, I'm gonna get in the front because I know I can hang with the people who are in the front of the class. So I think working out in general for me is a huge ego lift. Mm-hmm. It's just like, I think I was supposed to be like an athlete when I was young, but I wasn't. But I feel like if I was, I think I might have been destined to be one, because now I feel like I'm finding athleticism in my later half of my life. And it's definitely like awakening this sort of competitive edge that I have, that I feel like I'm going to need, as I go on my entrepreneurial journey. So yeah, I feel like now is probably when I look at myself and I'm like, girl, you look like you work out. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
Have you found a community amongst those that you're doing this with?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's anywhere I go, to be able to say that I'm a power lifter, or I've competed, or that I just work out in general, it's a point of connection for folks. And then, of course, you got the people who show up in your different classes every week. And so, like, that's definitely, like, great community to have. And they keep you accountable, you know, because it's kind of like, you know, I don't want to fall behind. We all started at the same time. Like, I love that we're all progressing at the same time. I'm not going to be the one that fell off, okay? But yeah, it's definitely like community within the fitness space, especially here in Cleveland. Like, and, you know, everybody's always just like cheering each other on for their different accomplishments. And it's also cool to have people who just gotten into their own little sports. You know, I do powerlifting, but then I have friends who do boxing and yoga, and tennis. Like, everybody got their own thing going on, and it's like really cool to see that as well.
The hardest part for me is that I enjoy working out, but I also want to like get in and get out. In this gym that I go to, it's in an office space that's in the lower level. So it's, you know, private to the tenants of the building, but there's no one ever there. So there's no community in the same aspect of what you are experiencing. But then again, it's just like, hey, 30 minutes of lifting, 30 minutes in the sauna. I got my workout in. I feel great. I'm in, I'm out. But it's that camaraderie factor that I think would be a good thing for me when working out. But, you know, then also it's just like, well, that's going to take up quite a bit of time towards the end of the day because I'm a social person. And, you know, it reminds me back when I was in college and whenever I'd go to the library, we'd have the first floor, but I wouldn't start there. I'd start on the lower level, and I'd go down and I'd say hi to all my friends, and then I'd go up to the main lobby, and then I'd go around the first floor and say hi to all my friends, and then I'd go up to the part where like you shouldn't be talking, maybe like a whisper, and I'd go and like do a round over there and talk to people. So it's like in terms of the social aspect, it would be great. In terms of like actually getting the work done that I needed to, it would be the absolute worst thing for me.
Yeah. Well, shoot, I don't know what to tell you then. Because I need both. Yeah. I need the times where I go to the gym by myself and like really lock in and do what I want to do. And then I need the times where I'm going to go to a class and whoever's leading it is going to run you ragged, like, because you're not going to challenge yourself like that on your own. You're just not. Very true. You're just not going to do it. Like, let's be honest. You could be like, all right, I can take an extra. No. He'd be like, all right, let's go. Let's time's up. So you need those sort of things. And then you need your own sport, I'll call it. Yes. So where it feels like, if you're not a person who enjoys like working out, where, you know, it doesn't feel like that for you. So people who do tennis, people who do bowling, like, tennis is a huge workout. I don't know what I'm talking about, but, but to people who love tennis, they don't feel that way. Yeah, you know, it's just like a big ping pong game to them. I don't know. So yeah, I really think it's about finding a sport. Like if you treat it like that, because, you know, otherwise you're going to find all sorts of excuses as to why working out doesn't work for you. And But, you know, also it's kind of like, what are your priorities? What's really important to you in general? I feel like I've become a person where, again, the fitness stuff is like, it's a part of who I am at this point. Like, I really don't see... I feel like something tragic would have to happen, like, God forbid, for me to, like, lose it or stop making progress. Because realistically, I see, you know, you see tons of the stories where it was like 30 days, I lost this weight, and da-da-da-da. But, again, my goals have been more so, like, body composition. So it's, like, such slow changes. That's why I'm like, I never really had this moment of, like, oh, yeah, got it now. It's just, like... Every now and then I look in the mirror, I'm like, oh, yes, that's a new cut. Okay. Like, it's very slow and surprising results. And most people, like, if you look up I think bodybuilders are probably a better example. Like, most people, it takes them like 3 to 5 years to really get the goal body that they're going after. But you're going to see so many other results outside of that. So it's about like, quantifying what's most important to you. Like, so for me, it was just like, I want to make sure that I am a person who works out. Like, like that was that. I feel like that was first goal achieved. And, then I wanted to make sure I was comfortable going into any gym, because I travel a lot. I want to be able to go into any gym and not feel like, oh, I don't know what to do, or like, this is foreign to me. Like, check. I can go no matter what city I'm in. I was in Colombia, and they have this like outdoor, like it's just a park, but it's all weights, like squat rack, bench, like all the things. And it was just like Colombian guys, with their shirt off, working out over there. But I was like, I know what I'm doing, and I could like go over here and work out with y'all, So that was really important to me, like to feel comfortable with weights. So I think now it's about total body conditioning. Like, I want to be strong, lean, and I want my breath. I want to be able to like run a mile without stopping, or just like, not get, I don't know what's the right term for it, but, just kind of like extend my lung capacity, I guess.
So some endurance, some stamina.
Thank you. Yes.
Boom.
Yes.
There we go. Colombia, though, do you do a lot of traveling?
Yeah, not recently, because I'm like got a lot of responsibilities out of nowhere. But yeah, I mean, I just got back from Chicago like literally last night. And I'm going to Louisville every week right now for my accelerator. But yeah, I've been to Colombia twice. And like I said, I did a lot of traveling for my job previously. So South Africa, Haiti. I've been to London, Paris. I definitely feel very like privileged and grateful to like have had those experiences. And Jamaica. I've been to Jamaica twice. Yeah, and there's more. There's more on the list. I can't wait to see the world. But that's definitely a part of what inspires me to work on like Capsoul. It's because I'm a traveler at heart. But yeah.
And, this whole time that we've been talking about what has truly been all things that you are passionate about. You've been smiling this whole time, and I love to see that. But it also brings me to the question that I enjoy asking the most, and that's what makes Marissa smile?
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty easy to get me to smile. Yeah. Like, I'm definitely like a smiling person. But, I love sunshine, but on like a crisp morning. Like, it's my favorite. If I could wake up and the air is still cool, but the sun is shining, instant smile. That's going to do it for me. Starting my day with like a really good parfait. I make my own parfaits, and
really,
yeah, and then sometimes I do it with different fruit, and like I make different granolas and things. So that makes me smile, because I'm like, what a masterpiece. Yeah. I have 3 cats, and they're crazy, but they make me smile all the time. And just like having the opportunity to just try things I want to do, like that makes me smile. That makes me feel like so grateful, because like we talked about earlier, this could have remained a concept, an idea to like never see the light of day. But having the opportunity to at least try it out, at least pursue it, like wish granted. That makes me smile.
Sounds like the simple things and the ability to have your own freedom are very, very important to you.
Wow, you summed it up. Yes, that's me in a nutshell.
And that's beautiful. It's something that we should all use or take a piece of advice from, because everyone talks about, like, oh, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, or, oh, like, enjoyed the journey no matter how hard it is. But it's also just like, hey, let's take a second to see what we've got going on in the present, because the past has happened and the future is in front of us.
And is the journey too hard? Because I'm not with that. Like, so that taking that beat and being honest with yourself and being like, not can I do it? Because yes, but do I want to do this? And, don't be worried about what other people are going to say, what other people are going to think. Like, taking the pause to have that conversation with yourself, like, I think is really important and will keep you in that present moment, But yeah, to the little things. I love it.
Can you believe we've already been going for about an hour?
No. Like, that was quick.
It was quick. Once again, I got to give you kudos because, like, I said this when I had Rebecca on, but it's like, I don't know her.
Yeah,
you don't really know me, but now we know each other.
Yeah.
And now we have the ability to put together this production and really allow others to know what it is that you're going through, what it is that I'm going through, and use it as inspiration to continue to not only live the lives that they are, but enhance them. And to some, that's going to be through things that they can implement to help their self-esteem, maybe to do their self-confidence. You may literally go ahead and allow the opportunity for someone to see something to fruition because of what you showed them was possible.
Yeah, whoa, that's a lot of responsibility.
That's right. Get ready for it.
I just hope people, again, I really just want people to just, like, do what's best for you. Yeah. Like, do what's best for you. And even though we have social media and we can, like, we have access to these expanders, these people who, like, allow us to believe what, maybe we didn't before because we only had this window that we could look through. So it's great to have those expanders, but you still have to, like, be real with yourself. It's like, what am I really trying to do on a day-to-day, How do I want to live my life, and make your decisions based on that.
If people want to support you, your ventures, and every bit of what you are going to accomplish over time, where do you send them? How can they help you? Where do we want to push these people towards?
Yeah, so you can find us online at capsoulco.com. That's CAPSOULCO.com. All social media accounts at Capsoul Co. Or just Google Capsoul, CAPSOUL, you'll find us. But yeah, everything will be there, and I look forward to, like, connecting with everyone.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you.